So this video is going to be a quick summary video of my computer science journey as I completed a bachelor's degree with Western Governors University. So the reason I'm making this video is to hopefully guide people who are also pursuing a computer science degree or really any degree with WGU, to give them an idea of how to accelerate through the degree with as little time and money as possible. So, for background, I was in the military at the time, and I decided to make a career change. Looked into tech, and ultimately chose computer science just because of the versatility of the degree. With a CS degree, you could get into any tech field, as opposed to if you had a more specialized degree like cloud computing, that would primarily apply to cloud computing. So ultimately, I just went with computer science, just took that leap of faith, chose that. And what I liked about WGU specifically was the ability to accelerate through the degree with less time and less money. Now, this might be, like, some people might be opposed to that just because you might not get the best education, but for me, it was mainly about just checking off that box for HR, just getting that resume bullet, and then do the true learning on my own, which I felt, for me personally, I'm more incapable of doing, just doing that self-learning. So yeah, went with WGU and did a bunch of research on how I could get through this degree as fast as possible. So step one, first thing I did was go to sophia.org. That was the first thing. And the reason that was the first thing was because that's the cheapest, I would say probably like the lowest hanging fruit, I would say. So I go to sophia.org, study.com, I'll get to that one in a second, but I would recommend doing as many courses as you can from sophia.org. And the reason, because a lot of the tests are open book. I think most of it's open book actually. And also they're a lot cheaper than study.com. Study.com is, I think, $230 a month plus $70 for every additional exam you take. I think you're allowed to take 2 a month, but once you go, but for every exam above that, so for 3 and beyond, you have to pay an additional $70. So Sophia.org is significantly cheaper. Some of their courses are kind of hefty. Like, I know their database classes were pretty hefty, but if we're talking about max affordability, I would just go with Sophia.org. Do as many classes as you can from them first, due to the much cheaper price tag. So the general education courses, and then a few tech courses. I know they have a web development course, a Python course, and a Java course. So Sophia.org. The disadvantage with that one is that it has a lot less classes than study.com. So step 2, that's where we go into study.com. Study.com offers a lot more transferable courses. I think recently they just added a web development course too. So that's also a resource that I use to accelerate through. What I would say with study.com is that I really struggled with their customer service. I would have questions about certain courses, about my grades, and they would take forever to respond. So just give yourself a lot of time to go through that study.com courses, because one issue that I ran into was that I was trying to transfer all of my courses at a specific deadline, and at the same time trying to deal with study.com's customer service issues, and they take up forever to respond. So just be cognizant of that. As for what the issue was, I had an issue with their course on Intro to AI for Computer Scientists, where for the projects, my projects kept getting kicked back, and their customer service was just too slow to respond. So because they took too long to respond, that was the one class that I wasn't able to transfer in, was Intro to AI for Computer Scientists from study.com. But again, study.com is still an invaluable resource because they offer so many courses, and that you can transfer into your curriculum. So that was step 2. And then finally step 3, and this this one's a little bit open for debate. I went for industry certifications to transfer in even more college credit. So I did the Oracle Java certifications. I did the Linux cert and the ITIL cert. Even though those are both provided by WGU, I still did them on my own just to knock them out beforehand. And then the other cert was a Scrum Master cert. Now, certifications do take time. They really do. They're pretty time consuming and they're tough. And not only that, a lot of them are expensive too. Like the Oracle certs were a little bit pricey. So you could definitely go into WGU without transferring those college credits from the certs, but I decided to do it just because, again, I really wanted to maximize my chances of completing everything in one term. So I went with the certs. I have a couple of videos on the certs that I did for the curriculum. So that was step 3. And finally, step 4 was finally getting started at WGU. The transfer policies, you have to transfer in everything like the month prior. So if you start on like April 1st, you have to transfer in everything by March 5th, I would say. Really more like March 1st because it takes them a couple days to receive your transcripts. So be very aware of that. So by the time I started at WGU, I had 14 classes to do. So still pretty hefty workload. And it would have been 13, but again, that AI class from study.com kind of, screwed me over. So I had to take that L. So 14 classes. I pretty much maxed out my transfer credits, again, nearly fully maxed out, except for that one class. And as for those 14 courses, thanks to some help from friends, thanks to help from online resources, Reddit, and just going through that grind, I was able to knock out most of the courses pretty fast. The only course through the WGU's curriculum that held me up was Discrete Math 2. That was tough. I think that held me for a little bit over a month. So, but other than that, I was able to get through the course pretty quickly and finish in that 6-month time window that I had. I finished in just over 3 months, so like 3.5 months or so, just shy of 4. In total, this whole timeline from Sophia.org, study.com, certifications, and then the actual curriculum took me, I would say, probably just a little bit over like 1.5 years, somewhere between 1.5 years to 2 years. So that was my timeline. That's what I did to get the bachelor's degree. I might go into more detail about ranking the different classes, as well as the classes through Sophia and study.com, but we'll see. And as for post-degree, main thing I've been doing was, and still am, is building projects, pushing them to GitHub, and then getting those projects some publicity through YouTube as well as LinkedIn. So doing that, building stuff while applying to jobs. So once I start landing interviews, I'm very excited to talk about my interview prep as well as my interview experiences and then landing that first job. It's gonna be good. But that's all I got for this video. Talk soon.